Hi, welcome to day 32 of the Easter tree. Today we're going to be talking about boy Jesus in the temple. Please open your Bibles to read Luke chapter 2, verse 41 through 52. Passover was one of the three feasts that had to be observed in Jerusalem. We see this in Exodus chapter 23, verse 14 through 17, and also in Exodus chapter 34, verse 23. In Jewish culture, it is a custom to take your son who is about to turn 13 to observe Passover, because at age 13 you become a member in the Jewish community. Dun 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 dun. They realize he's gone. It's not time to judge Mary and Joseph now, because if you can imagine a 12-year-old, he's independent enough that he knows to come along with the family. If you have a group of relatives caravanning and traveling, you can assume that he's probably with the other cousins, or he might be with the other parent. So Mary and Joseph are not bad parents. The courts were commonly used for teaching. You find here Jesus is both listening and he's asking questions. He's very teachable and he's interested. In Jewish education, there's an emphasis on discussion of the problems, which is why you see here there's more of a give and take conversation as opposed to a classroom setting. So already at age 12, we see that Jesus has a special relationship with God the Father. I kind of imagine him just looking past the priests and past the courts. Did he want to just go for it and just run into the Holy of Holies and just get to be there with God the Father and finally see God? Keep in mind, he is fully God and he is fully man. And he is choosing to live as a man, not accessing his God aspect yet. He's reining that in. He's not unleashing the fully Godness of himself, but he is submitting to God's plan, and he is staying within the confines of the human body and not sinning while he's doing it. So can't you imagine? He's sitting there and he thinks, man, I miss being with God the Father. I miss being a Trinity all together. What if I just ran into the Holy of Holies and just gave God the Father a big hug? It probably took so much energy and effort to not do that. Because here, when he says, wouldn't you know that I'd be at my Father's house? This is the closest he's going to get to heaven on earth. Because here we see the Word becoming flesh. The Greek word for word is logos. So he is logos. He is the Word in flesh. And he knew the Word because he is the Word. And here he's still seeking to be teachable. He's still seeking information and wanting to learn more. He was probably also probing the priests to make them consider. Despite his understanding of God the Father, he obeyed and he was a good teenage son. He submitted to the authority of his earthly mother and father. He returned back to Nazareth as a dutiful son. So we see here that Jesus is well-rounded in his development, intellectually, socially, and spiritually. As teenagers, this is how we can be without sinning, being obedient and submissive to one's parents. Day 32, boy Jesus in the temple. Dun, da, da, da. It's two-sided. So one, we see Jesus in the temple. He's learning, he's intellectual. This is representing the priest and the scroll, the word. He had to go back. He had to submit to work, and that was developing skills as a carpenter. So here's my little carpenter tools with some little balsam wood. So priest in the temple, and also going back, submitting to his earthly father and his job. So now some time for application. However that might look for you. It might be time in going for a walk. It might be time where you journal or you get creative. It might be time where you get kinesthetic. Maybe you have the means and the time to actually go travel to Jerusalem. Whatever it is, I pray that it's something that will draw you closer to the Lord and make you enjoy him more. Because what's the chief end of man? To glorify God and enjoy him forever. For me, although I want to go visit Jerusalem, I can't. Here's my application to the Lord. I drew a picture. Boy Jesus in the temple, our passage. This shows him being a carpenter and learning the trade with his father Joseph here. His humble little village, what the houses would have looked like. And we see him talking in the courts with the wise elder priests. And again, here symbolizing Passover. What was it like for him knowing that he would be the ultimate Passover lamb sacrifice someday? And then on this side is a picture of the temple what the Jerusalem would have looked like at the time. So all the houses centered around the temple. Then here's Herod's palace. There's some great pictures online and books that have this that you can see. So Jerusalem during Jesus' time. Thank you again for joining me today.